Hey, crafty people. This vlog is going to be from in bed. And for those of you that are not friends with me on Facebook, you're probably really wondering why. So I'm going to show you why, and then I'll be back. On Facebook, this is what my ankle looks like right now. And I thought I would just do a real quick video for me to memorialize it. That's that side of it. There's take it off. There's a nurse, I'm worse.
I prefer to be doctor.
Look at him, he shaved, guys. He looks so handsome. That's the guy I married, that one right there. That's exact facial hair.
No, I'm better than.
You're better than him? That actually hurt.
I know.
So anyway, I will give you the full story here in just a minute, but I wanted to do a little video. Now you know. It is...
You put your apples in this basket?
Yes, please. So yesterday was my mom's birthday, and I called her in the morning like a good daughter. I had flowers delivered to her day before because I knew she'd be out and about for her birthday. So she got her flowers on Tuesday. I called her Wednesday morning, and we were chatting, and my sister and my cousin were coming over to take her to lunch, and I started telling her about the antiques. So I was really excited to tell her about the sewing machine, and she said, "Oh, is it a Singer?" And I said, "I don't think so." So I said, "Hold on," and I walked out to the garage to go and look and tell her exactly what brand it was. And what happened, we have the house level, then there's a step, and then the garage level. So I did the first step, and I thought the next step was the garage level. And I've lived in this house for a dozen years. I don't know why, but I missed the last step. So my heel hit the step, the rest of the front of my foot went down, and my ankle just snapped. And it was very, very loud. I went to the ground. I dropped my phone, and I picked up the phone. I knew it was bad because, like I said, I had heard it. So I picked up the phone, and I told my mom, I was like, "Mom, I gotta go." And I've done that before, like when the shop is calling or something. So she's like, "Okay, I love you, goodbye." And we hung up. So instantly my body starts trembling from the pain. My teeth are chattering from the pain. And I'm laying on the garage floor. Fortunately, it wasn't super cold the night before, so that wasn't the issue. It was pain. So I called Honey because I didn't want to look at my ankle because my ankle had rolled over to the side, to the side where I couldn't see it. But I was literally afraid the bone was protruding. So I called Honey, and he answered, and I was like, "Honey, I've fallen in the garage. I need you to come home." And he's like, "Baby, I can't come home. I can't come home." And he's like, he can hear how frightened I am, but he's freaking out because his boss was in a closed door meeting, and the other guy, it was his day off, and I'm crying and telling him he has to come home. So he's like, "Call Shane." I was like, "I can't. I don't know what to do." So he's like, "I'll call Shane." So he called Shane, and Shane didn't answer. Well, I knew Shane had gone to bed at like 5 o'clock in the morning, him and his friend Darren. So I figured they just weren't able to wake him up. So I called Honey back and he's like, honey, I don't know what to do. I can't leave. And I was like, okay, whatever. I was kind of mad. So I hung up and I didn't realize it, but Domino, because the garage door to the house was still open. So Domino was like kind of around me and I started screaming for Shane and she freaking hightailed it. She scared the crap out of her. But anyway, he didn't hear me. So I laid there thinking, I was like, oh, I'll call the neighbor. So I called the neighbor and he answered and he's like, Rena, what's wrong? And I told him, and he's like, I'll be right there. So he came and I gave him the garage code, but it wasn't working. He couldn't get in the garage. So I told him, he knows where the boys' bedroom is. I said, go around to the boys' bedroom and bang on the window. Well, he came around to the front door and I don't know, the front door was open. So he came in, he got Shane. Shane and his friend came out and Shane's like, Mom, what do you want me to do? I was like, I think you're going to have to call 911. So I kind of picked up my leg and turned it to look. And it literally looked like that red spot you saw. Like, it looked like the bone was getting ready to protrude from there. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And the pain was so excruciating. I was just like totally trembling. So he called 911 and within 3 minutes, we could even hear the fire truck while he was still on the phone with the 911 operator. And I told them they were going to have to move all the antiques and stuff. I was like, you're going to have to make room for these guys. So they moved stuff and Shane moved the Jeep, which was, help them get me out, to have the Jeep moved. So, they came in and they put me on a stretcher and the guy looked at my ankle and they started talking about what hospital to take me to. And I said, why do you want to take me to that one? That one's far away. There's two new ones really closer by. And he goes, well, we want to take you somewhere where if they need to do surgery, they can do it. I was like, oh. So he called in ankle fracture with dislocation is what he notified the hospital of on the route. Or before we left, he did. And then he asked me several times while they were putting me on the board if I wanted pain meds. And I was like, pain meds will make me nauseous. And I don't want to have this pain and nauseous at the same time. And he's like, ma'am, I've never seen an ankle like that where I didn't administer pain meds. I was like, I just really don't want it. So they get me into the ambulance and we start driving in the neighborhood. And I was like, well, I said, that is a long way to the hospital. And I have a feeling it's going to be a bumpy road. Okay, I'll take the pain meds. And he had already told me he could give me anti-nausea, so that's why I agreed. So he told the guys like, hey, I need you to stop. So they stopped. He put it in, the IV, and off we went. It seemed like it was no time at all before we were at the hospital. Probably the drugs. And I get into the emergency room. And the doctor comes in and goes, oh, okay, well, we're going to have to get an x-ray. And then I'm going to order sedation for you. We're going to put you as far out as we possibly can. And then we're going to set this ankle. I was like, oh. Okay. Well, Honey and the boys both came to the hospital. And it seemed like it was like 30, 40 minutes. The doctor comes back in. And he says, so I have your x-rays back. He said, I was so shocked by them, I had to call whatever the x-ray department is. I had to call them back to make absolutely sure these were your x-rays. I was like, okay. He goes, yeah. You just chipped a very small piece of bone off. And that's the only damage we can see on x-ray. I was like, well, that's good. What was that really loud snap that I heard? Because it sounded like a bone. He goes, well, that was your tendon. And he said, you're going to have to go see the orthopedic surgeon for that. So we're going to wrap you, put you in a boot, send you home with some pain meds, and you're going to schedule an appointment with the orthopedic doctor. And I was like, my orthopedic doctor, it takes 3 weeks to get into him. And he was like, well, usually, you know, when you have kind of an emergency situation, they'll get you in quicker. So I was able to get in today, which is Thursday. I was able to see the same doctor who did my knee surgery. And it was funny. I'll tell you that part in a minute. So anyway, so I went to work today. Honey took me in he took today off as well. And I did really good at work. The girls brought the dogs and put them on my table, and then they would take them and put them away, bring me another one. So I was able to do about 10 today and get off in time. We had to go to Sam's because I told Honey, I said, I'm not going to be able to go to the store by myself. I said, so since you're off, let's go ahead and get some grocery shopping done so we at least have groceries for a week. So we did. And then we went to the doctor's appointment at 4. So when the doctor came in, he was like, oh, look at you. And I pulled up my pant leg so he could see my scar. And I was like, you did this. And then he looked at my ankle and he's like, I remember that kiss tattoo. I totally remember you. And it was like a dozen years ago. But anyway, he was super nice. And he was like, okay, well, we're going to wrap you back up. We're going to put the boot back on. I want you to come back in 3 weeks to start physical therapy. I was like, that's it? And he's like, yeah. He said, there's nothing we're going to do about the bone chip. That'll just be floating around in there and it'll be fine. And he said, you probably stretched your tendons and, we want 3 weeks of healing before we start physical therapy. I said, okay. And then Honey had told me earlier, I was like, I can't move my foot up at all. I can push it down, but I can't lift it up. And so he said I should tell the doctor that. So I said, so is it normal that I can't? He goes, can you not lift it up because of pain? I said, no. I said, when I try to lift it up, there's no pain at all. I said, it just won't go. And he looked at his physician's assistant and he was like, oh, we need to order an MRI. And he said, you could have just snapped your tendon right in half. Because if you can't, lift. And he asked if I had pain upper in my calf area. Because he said, that's where the tendon is that actually pulls your foot up. And I was like, no, it doesn't hurt. He pushed on it and everything. I said, no. He said, this is very strange. So he ordered an MRI. I have to go, insurance has to approve it. So there's a process that goes through. Insurance has to approve it. Once insurance approves it, the company that does the MRI will call me and schedule. So that's what's going on. I don't know any more than that. And as someone said on Facebook, it's going to be a real drag. I won't be able to do any antiquing for a while. I mean, I can actually bear weight on it with the boot. But you see that it looks pretty bad right now. Now, I also have a trip planned next Friday, and I asked him about traveling, and he was like, okay, well, you can travel, but I want you taking baby aspirin every day. I don't want any blood clots. So I did get a little bit of crafting done. Yesterday I got really bored laying in bed for hours and hours, so I got up and I crafted for about an hour, and then I was really uncomfortable sitting with my foot down. And when I was at work, the way my table is, I'm able to kind of prop it up. It's not a lot. It's propped up about that far, but at least it's not like flat down. And I got crafting done this morning. I crafted about 2 hours. But I started doing this. And this. And even this. So I am really continuing on my journey. I did, you know, when I was laying there on the floor of the garage, I was like, Lord, are you trying to tell me something? Are you trying to tell me to slow down? Did this happen for that reason? And then I thought to myself, you know, I believe that God does interject or intervene into our lives. I do. But I don't think that we're puppets by any stretch. I don't think he would want me to fall down the stairs and hurt my foot. I think he would give me other signs if he wanted me to slow down. So I don't think that's what it was. I think it could just be that I had an accident. That's what I think. So I'm going to continue moving forward. You know, I asked you guys about ice cream. Should I have ice cream at my new store? And the majority of you guys said yes. I agree. I think ice cream, like an old-fashioned ice cream, you know, not your typical 36 flavors. No. Very minimal, you know, flavors. You know, could you do a banana split or something like that maybe, or a sundae? Definitely ice cream floats. You know, those things of yesteryear. So I'm definitely going to have ice cream. I want to tell you guys, one of the places where Savannah and I went antiquing is called simply the Emporium. I really like that word, Emporium. It is an old-fashioned word, and I've been thinking of ideas of how to come up, or what kind of name to come up with using the word Emporium. Vintage tea emporium, but then again, vintage and emporium, they kind of, you know, they're like the same in a way. Emporium is going to be the word that states vintage to me. So the Tea and Treasures Emporium, or Beautiful Treasures Emporium. Beautiful. Get it? So, you know, I really like the Tea and Treasures Emporium, or Tea Time and Treasures Emporium. I also like the word enchanted. So, Enchanted Tea Emporium. Enchanting Tea Emporium. Oh my goodness. But, you know, some of you say that, or some of you have said, and it's a few. Most of you are really gung-ho and think that all the different things will all come together. But, you know, and somebody said, oh, you need to talk to the caterers and see if they're even on board. I'm leaving that to the property owner. You know, he knows them. He told me it's a done deal. But yeah, I mean, does he actually need to talk to them? Yeah. But he's like, don't worry about that. They will be on board. Trust me on that one. So I was reading my books too, my tea books that came, and I learned that high tea is actually a tea that's served with meat. And it's more like a dinner with tea is what high tea actually is. So an afternoon tea is simply called afternoon tea. And that's with those little light finger sandwiches and the scones and little cookies or whatever. That's just simply called afternoon tea. And I did learn that. So I do, you know, in addition to having the antiques for sale, the crafts for sale, and crafting supplies for sale, in the other antique store that we went to, the Emporium, they had vintage candies, they had coffees and teas for sale in, you know, the boxed stuff. They had flavored spoons. They were even selling soaps and aromatherapy oils, party goods, candles, jewelry. So I want it to be a place where people can come for something unique. Something that you're not going to find at Walmart or Target or, you know, any of those kind of stores. The guys just came in. Anyway, I'm going to hush for now, but know that I am working on it. This stuff will end up in my journal. And I just wanted to update you on what's going on with me. So tomorrow's Friday and Saturday, so I have 2 more days of work. And the church already called me. My pastor and I are friends on Facebook, so the church called me and wanted to know if I would like to receive Holy Communion at my home. So sweet. I was like, oh no, I will be able to make it to church. So, look who's over there. Domino. Come here. Come here. You're such a good girl. She's been super hanging out with me and just being a little love bug. And a brat too. Bratty love bug. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you guys. So Honey was like, I think next time you go to the store, I want you to start getting her Fancy Feast. I was like, why? He goes, because she keeps throwing up. So when we went to Sam's today, kitty kitty, she got Fancy Feast. You want to talk to all your fans? You have fans. Did you know that, Domino? All right. Well, sometime I'm going to have to do a video with Shane. He's been here since Tuesday evening, and we caught up on all the Walking Dead for him, so he's ready for Sunday. I don't know what time he's leaving on Sunday. Hopefully not till after The Walking Dead. But we're going to the theater anyway, so. All right, guys. I'll keep you updated. Thanks for hanging in there on this particular section of the vlog, and we'll see you later. Bye.